Those hands weren't typical paramedic hands, because what she was doing went beyond standard first aid. It was advanced surgical work. In this story, I'll reveal who this woman is, where she honed those skills, and why her true background has remained a secret for over a decade. Because this wasn't just another night on the job. Welcome to Behind Everyday Heroes. Before I dive in, share in the comments what city you're reading this from, and if you think true legends shine brightest in the most unexpected moments. Stay tuned, this story has 3 layers, and the final one will leave you stunned. But first, let me tell you something. The first thing you'll learn about this woman will turn everything upside down. Dr. Sofia Marquez worked the night shift at City Central Hospital. But hold on, she wasn't a doctor. She was a paramedic, or so everyone believed. For 4 years, she'd been part of the same team, yet none of them knew her real story. And that night, everything was about to shift. Sofia was always unique. While other paramedics stuck to checking pulses and oxygen levels, she conducted thorough, almost clinical assessments. "Why do you analyze so much?" they'd ask. "Just a habit," she'd reply softly. But that habit had roots in far different places. "You'll get it soon," she'd think to herself. Her partners, Lucas and Tom, found Sofia's approach peculiar. "We're paramedics, Sofia, not surgeons," they'd say. Sofia would give a small smile and stay silent, because, in truth, they were both mistaken. Sofia's equipment checks stood out from the rest. She examined every tool with meticulous care, for lines, airway kits, defibrillators, like she was prepping for a surgical theater. And the case coming that night would demand exactly that precision. At 35, Sofia was the picture of professionalism, unruffled by pressure. Even in the wildest emergencies, she seemed to have everything under control. Where did this composure come from? Because those hands had operated in far harsher conditions before. Sofia's medical knowledge left even senior doctors in awe. "Where did you study medicine?" they'd ask. "Various places," Sofia would say, always evasive, never specific. And those places were nothing like traditional medical schools. Sofia Alvarez had enlisted in the military at 20. But why? It wasn't about family legacy or financial need. It was something deeper. And that reason set Sofia on an extraordinary path. She began in the medical corps, but after basic training, she was chosen for something more, elite combat medical training, the most rigorous program. But that was just the start. The real specialized training was yet to come: special operations medical training, advanced field surgery, life-saving procedures in extreme conditions. Sofia was among the top 1%. And those skills would prove critical in the emergency room that night. Her first deployment was in a war-torn region, forward surgical team, performing life-saving operations on injured soldiers before they could reach a proper operating room. Complex medical procedures in chaotic conditions. That experience reshaped Sofia, you'll see how soon. Her second deployment was even more intense, attached to Special Forces medical support on high-risk missions, gunshot wounds, shrapnel injuries, severe trauma cases. The techniques she mastered there were far beyond what civilian hospitals ever saw. Sofia learned to work with precision and silence, minimal equipment, scarce resources, maximum impact. Her hands became tools of survival. And those hands would draw every eye at City Central that night. Her third deployment was in a volatile conflict zone, covert operations medical support, performing combat surgery under fire. Sofia had reached the skill level of a field surgeon. But why had she left the military to become a paramedic? That story was layered: trauma, reintegration struggles, the weight of civilian life. Sofia's transition was anything but smooth. High-pressure medical work felt familiar, but civilian systems were a different beast. And that tension was about to erupt that night. That Wednesday night began like any other. Sofia, Lucas, and Tom handled routine calls: a minor car crash, a sprained ankle, a heart attack scare. Typical shift. But the call that came at 11:52 p.m. was anything but typical. Multi-car pileup on Route 87. Multiple victims, possible entrapments. Urgent priority. Sophia's senses sharpened. This kind of call demanded her true expertise. When they reached the scene, it was pandemonium, 4 vehicles mangled, 1 flipped, 3 passengers trapped, fire crews cutting through metal. And what Sophia saw instantly kicked her into gear. First patient, alert but bleeding heavily from a neck wound. Lucas was doing a quick check. Vitals holding steady, he called out. But Sophia saw something others missed. And that observation would shift everything. Lucas, hold on. Sophia's tone was sharp, commanding, unlike her usual calm. What's wrong, Sophia? That's not just a neck wound. Check the pupil dilation, the blood flow, the neurological signs. Lucas looked but couldn't spot it. What are you talking about? This is a subdural hematoma. We need advanced airway support, intracranial pressure monitoring, and immediate surgical prep. Lucas blinked, confused. Sophia, we're paramedics, not brain surgeons. Sophia's response stunned him. I know exactly what I'm doing. She reached for specialized intubation gear. Her hands moved with the precision of a seasoned surgeon. This wasn't standard paramedic work. Where had she learned this? The second patient was in worse shape, severe chest trauma, likely internal bleeding, early signs of shock. Tom was applying basic care, but when Sophia stepped in, the dynamic shifted. She examined the patient, her hands moving like a diagnostic tool, calculated, expert, almost mechanical. This is a tension pneumothorax, possibly with hemothorax. We need immediate needle decompression. Tom froze. Sophia, that's surgical intervention. We can't. We can. And we will. Sophia prepped equipment, tools not typically found in an ambulance. Where had she gotten them? She performed the needle decompression with steady, practiced hands, as if she'd done it countless times. And perhaps she had. The patient's breathing eased, color returned, vitals stabilized. Tom was floored. Sophia, where did you learn to do that? Her response held the key to everything. Various places, she said, continuing her work. But Lucas wouldn't let it go. Sophia, this is advanced trauma surgery. Paramedics don't do this. Sophia paused, glancing at her blood-covered hands, unshaking, precise, and in that moment, she made a choice. You're right. Paramedics don't. Lucas and Tom waited. Sophia's next words would change everything. The third patient was the most severe, multiple traumas, potential internal injuries, slipping into shock. This case was beyond standard paramedic skills. But for Sophia, it was familiar territory, advanced fore placement, blood pressure stabilization, complex drug administration. She worked like a machine, methodical, efficient, masterful. And during the transport to the hospital, the truth would surface. At City Central Emergency, Dr. Carter, the attending physician, reviewed the incoming cases. Who handled the initial treatment? Our paramedic team, Lucas answered. Dr. Carter scanned the medical charts, and stopped cold. This is remarkable. Intracranial pressure control, advanced chest decompression, multi-trauma stabilization. This is surgical-grade care. Sophia was quietly cleaning her tools, but Dr. Carter's next question would unravel everything. Which one of you performed this level of treatment? Lucas and Tom turned to Sophia. And Sophia finally chose to reveal the truth. I did, sir. This is trauma surgery at a residency level. Where did you train? Sophia took a deep breath. Her answer would expose a 15-year secret. Army Special Operations medical training. Combat surgery specialist. 3 deployments. Silence fell. In that moment, everything clicked into place. You're telling me our paramedic is a former military surgeon? Not just a military surgeon, Sophia clarified. Special operations field surgery. Under combat conditions. Lucas and Tom were reeling from the revelation. But the biggest surprise was still to come. Dr. Carter's next question brought everything into focus. What was your rank? Major. Combat medical specialist. That rank left even Dr. Carter in awe. Major, your combat medical experience surpasses most of our trauma surgeons. Sophia remained humble. Different world, doctor. I'm a paramedic now. But Dr. Carter's next offer would alter her path. Major Marquez, would you consider joining our trauma surgery department? Sophia was taken aback. I'm not board certified as a civilian surgeon. We can make that happen. Your skills, your expertise, we need them here. What would Sophia decide? Lucas and Tom were floored. Their paramedic partner was a major, a surgeon, a hero. Sophia, why keep this from us? Her response said it all. The military taught me, don't boast about what you've done. Prove what you can do. And that mindset had defined Sophia's entire civilian career. In the weeks that followed, Sophia took on a dual role, paramedic shifts and trauma surgery training. She became City Central's greatest asset. But her true impact was just beginning to unfold. Her reputation grew, the paramedic who was secretly a surgeon. Her story spread through the medical community, inspiring other military veterans. Young paramedics sought her guidance. How do you stay so composed, they'd ask. Experience. Training. Knowing every patient counts, she'd reply. That philosophy began shaping the next generation. Sophia launched a mentorship program, Military to Civilian Medical Transition Support, to help other veterans find their path. She realized she wasn't alone. A specialized trauma unit was created at City Central, with Sophia as lead surgeon. Military medical expertise was now transforming civilian healthcare. And this was only the start. A year later, Sophia became Dr. Sophia Marquez, board-certified trauma surgeon. Yet she never abandoned her paramedic roots. That experience informed every choice she made. Field medicine teaches you differently, Sophia would say. Every moment is critical. Every decision weighs heavily. Every patient deserves your all. Lucas and Tom joined Sophia's surgical team. A paramedic-to-surgeon pipeline was born, and it would reshape the medical field. Sophia's story gained national recognition, a model of military-to-civilian healthcare success. Other veterans drew inspiration from her. But Sophia's greatest achievement was still on the horizon. Now, she trains combat medics transitioning to civilian healthcare. The cycle was complete. Your military service doesn't end when you leave, Sophia tells them. It transforms. Your skills, your commitment, your service mindset, they carry forward. Those hands that performed surgery in war zones now guide the next generation, teaching precision, building confidence, passing on expertise. Lucas and Tom are now Sophia's closest colleagues. We trained under a legend, they say with pride. Because that's what hidden legends do. They don't conceal their past, they use it to forge brighter futures. In Sophia's office hangs a single photo, her military medical team in a conflict zone. A reminder of where her skills were born. A beacon for where they're headed. So I ask you, have you ever been treated by someone like Sophia, healthcare providers whose military background you didn't suspect, where you only saw extraordinary skill? Share your stories in the comments. Because here at Unsung Heroes, we know the greatest healers often work in the quietest roles. If this story touched you, share it, subscribe, and help these vital stories live on. We'll see you in the next legend. And until then, remember, your healthcare provider might have saved more lives than you'll ever realize. Service never ends, it just changes uniforms.